Thank you, Roger, and I understand you want us sitting down, not to hit our heads and get the mics going, okay? Thank you, and for you who don't know me, I'm Dick Anderson. I'm running for and for the honor of being your mayor of Lincoln City. I'm not going to spend my 3 minutes telling you what you've probably already read or have access to in voter pamphlet, newspaper articles, online, and just me being around for so long. What I'm going to do is spend time talking to you about the future of Lincoln City. And I'd ask you to think ahead to January 2019 and what your city council looks like. It will look like 3 of the existing city councilors that we have now will move forward with 2 years experience. 3 brand new city councilors who you just heard will move into seats on city council with 0 experience. Because as you just heard, none of them have any time at all with city council. Let me add to that, the city manager will be finishing his 4th year as city manager. And the planning department, top 2 managers have retired. So you have a void, because I'm trying to paint for you about experience, history, and overall knowledge. So the question that I always ask is, what do you want your mayor to look like? What kind of experience should your mayor have? And I'll talk to you about me, Dick Anderson, 10 years with city council, 4 of those as your mayor, and the rest of the time as a city councilor. I also had the opportunity during that time to serve with some great people, Chester Norikis, Roger Sprague, Gary Ellickson, Wes Ryan, Lori Hollingsworth, all people you know and had a lot of time and experience. And they shared with me, mentored me along and through those 10 years to gain experience and knowledge about the process. The mayor's role is not simply to open up meetings and close meetings. The mayor's role is to lead, guide, to provide background information. So, what you've seen is me in action as your mayor. You've seen how I think, how I come to, how I deal with city councilors and the public, the accessibility that I have in gathering the information. And diversity is really important on city council, and we have that and will have that with more experience. So history is important.
All right, next candidate, David Dolly. David, 3 minutes.
What does the paper mean down here, just so I know our timing deadlines? So red is 30 seconds.
Red, you're done.
Oh, red's done. And I have 30 seconds. Okay. I agree. I'd like to tell you something different than we've done in about 5 of these forums. But I also just want to thank Susan and Dick and their families for running for mayor. There are larger cities in this state, and there's no groups of people running for the mayor. Salem, there's 1 person. Other city, Kaiser, 1 person. So I want to thank these families who are running for office. I grew up in Lincoln City. I was here in 1978 when the Selects Confederated Tribes were established, and I was in our schools. It's such a profound meaning to me. I don't remember the schools announcing that they were reestablished, and it's profound meaning for me to run for mayor and be in this town in the 70s, and my dad was a pastor and served this community, and he's why I'm running. This is a picture of me in Ocean Lake School, Pass and Kick. You notice I have patches on my pants. Because back in the day, we didn't get new pants. Our families during that era of being frugal, we sewed patches on our pants. And so I apply these lessons I learned to being frugal and going forward. We're going to learn a quick story in 3 minutes about the city of Lincoln City in '64. We were not a city, and the mayor of D-Lake, Buzz Flora, there was a press conference by the governor. He called this the 20 miserable miles. And that D-Lake mayor called Jerry Frank at the Capitol and he told the governor to come to Lincoln City. And in 90 days, they did a competition against Lincoln City and Salem to clean up the beaches. The Rotaries, the Kiwanis, this whole town came together. And in April, or July of '64, the governor's here in Lincoln City awarding Lincoln City an award. And the reason that that was so profound is the Portland papers were covering this competition. And you want to know what happened in the fall of '64? By coming together as a community, Kenny's IGA announces that they're going to build that shopping center. The Safeway shopping center announces. Salishan announces. And the building you are sitting in was announced because the families of Lincoln City came together and were a statewide leader. And I love that story. And I want to reinvigorate how we in 2019 can come together stronger than ever to solve these issues. Because we have big issues to face. We can delve down into them. But the fabric in this room and uniting us and building relationships to work together is what is a strong history here in Lincoln City. And if I am your mayor, I want to be a champion around our current council, our city staff, our volunteers, our senior, many retired executives, male and female, now call Lincoln City their home, who have such great ideas to help us solve what we can do in Lincoln City. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, David. You could have mentioned that Buzz Forum was the monitor of KBCH Radio.
4 years.
Susan Waukee, candidate for mayor of Lincoln City. Susan?
Thank you, Roger. Hi, my name is Susan Waukee, and I want to thank you all for coming today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I've come from that you may not know, and give you an idea of where I am headed. I came to North Lincoln County 26 and a half years ago. I grew up in Oregon City and graduated from the U of O with a BA in elementary education. I then joined my husband, who was serving in the Army in Stuttgart, Germany, and substitute taught in the Department of Defense schools. I then was offered a job as a preschool teacher, and when I returned to Oregon, I continued working in preschools and running daycare centers. I know what a vital part of the economy that service is. In the early 80s, I started working in law offices and spent 30 years working as a legal secretary. When I came to Lincoln County, I worked for the city of Lincoln City in both the city attorney's office and at the police department, giving me a unique perspective to city government. I raised 2 daughters here who both graduated from Taft. 15 years ago, I was a single parent, working several jobs to make ends meet. I was in danger of losing my housing and reached out for assistance. As a result, I try to give back to my community. I understand what it is like to live payday to payday, trying to make ends meet. I have worked for small businesses in Lincoln City, and my husband owns a small business. I have been a small business owner. I am currently employed by the Bay Area Merchants Association, representing businesses in the south end of Lincoln City. I've been a chamber ambassador for many years and served as chair of the ambassador committee for several of those, and also served the term on the Lincoln City Chamber Board. 4 years ago, I was elected to City Council representing Ward 1. I have been elected by my colleagues to serve as Budget Committee Chair, Urban Renewal Chair, and currently as Council President. I also represent Lincoln City on the Council of Governments Board. Now I'm running for mayor, and I would be honored to represent all of Lincoln City. I've been fortunate to have lived here for over 25 years, and my vision for Lincoln City is a place where we can have more full-time residents who work and raise their families here. We need more opportunities for family wage jobs and more housing for our full-time residents. We will always attract vacationers and retirees, and we need to be sure that there are services for our seniors. I want to see vibrant downtown areas. When I am mayor, I will work with the other members of the council to get things accomplished. As citizens and elected officials, we deserve mutual respect and courtesy toward one another, even when we have differences of opinion.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Now, a series of questions, and I have a plan full. Okay? First question, what solution do you see to summer traffic?
Solution for traffic?
Summer traffic.
Summer traffic. That's a tough one, because when I talk to the business community, they love the summer traffic. So I'm assuming that's a question from a resident who was finally happy to have relief after Labor Day. The solution really is managing our time first and foremost, how we as residents react with the traffic. Remember, our Main Street is a state highway. Bypasses may sound interesting and I can tell you that affordable. Likelihood is not going to happen to bypass Lincoln City. So we've got to find ways within our own infrastructure to time the traffic, to assist the traffic, as well as educating our own citizens as how they deal with it.
Okay, David?
Oh, I'm gonna answer the question?
No?
Okay. Hopefully I get another one like that. Okay. All right. How would I address the homeless problem? The last community I lived in before I moved here a year ago was downtown Salem. We have 600 homeless people in downtown Salem. I don't know why the West Coast is such a draw, but I only think that we would do a homeless count every year. And so first of all, I'd like us to do homeless counts and model what larger cities do. We also contracted with a homeless specialist out of Vancouver who did triage. He met with all 2,000 or 6,000 of those homeless and categorized them about who was just moving on to the next town and who really wanted services. So we need to plan. It's October. We have people who are fearful for their lives. We need to keep the homeless shelter intact, but that community did not sign up for that shelter long-term. They have a right to say they want a long-term or not, and we need to work through the spring, through the fall, to find a long-term solution. We have time to get a solution that works for everybody, but the people in this room, you need to be around the table so your voices are heard.
All right, Susan? I have a question. What are your thoughts on food trucks, rideshare, Uber, and how these are functions in Lincoln City? What would you do to change ordinances so these small independent businesses can flourish in Lincoln City?
These are great topics to bring with the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission makes zoning ordinance recommendations to the council. As a council person, I need to be open to the comments that are made during public hearings and make a decision based on the record that's presented at that time.
Heather, would you like to change the batteries in that microphone to make things? Thank you. Before we get to the next set of questions, I got batteries here. Heather, batteries are here. I got them.
Oh, you have batteries. I thought you said you don't get batteries.
Just so to make certain that this stays up.
Yeah, if you don't, the bottom's a transmitter, so raise your hand higher and the Wi-Fi will go. You were grabbing it right here, so grab it near the base.
Want to make certain everybody gets heard. Next series of questions. Dale?
Two there.
Pick one anyway. As you know, tourism is Lincoln City's major economic driver. We all know what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket. With that being said, what ideas or solutions do you have to help Lincoln City become a more well-rounded economy?
I like that. It feeds right into what I've been talking about all along. We need to get our basics together, first and foremost, and what you've heard a lot about today is housing. So you got to put the lens on of how do we look as a community, first and foremost. We don't have housing. We have raised questions about the quality of our school systems. There are questions about the quality of our health systems, and transportation is a big negative often. So those are, for me, are the cornerstones that say, if you're going to be attractive as a community to living wage jobs and to outside businesses that you need for diversifying your economy, fix those things first. I think we're on the right track. We just need to speed it up and focus on those things.
Okay, David, one question.
Okay.
What do you see, how do you see the design standards and community vision projects immediately affecting Lincoln City?
Well, I'd also like to welcome our online audiences of 3 on the News Guard and 4 on the Chamber. And I think when it comes to design standards, we paid a consultant in 2006, the top consultant to come to Lincoln City. He designed Whistler, Canada. Very successful tourism community. And it is awesome to have that person here. He's part of the Main Street program now. I've been part of Main Streets. And all the solutions have been in that folder since 2006. We need to look at that folder in 2018, pick out what we can do, and execute what the top communities are doing, both in Canada, in California. There's very key issues that are very basic, and we pay experts. What we lack in is picking what we want to do here with the folks of 2018, because that's an old report. It's exciting that we have that report.
Susan? Question? With when you work together, you form a consensus.
Yes. I agree.
When you work together to form a consensus with the other fractions of the past 4 years, or will the other fractions, or frictions rather, of the past 4 years continue?
Our future council and mayor will look very different than our current council and mayor. We will have 3 continuing councilors and some new faces. And I think that one of the things we need to do is sit down together to be at the beginning of the year and decide which direction we want to go. And that is a decision that should be made together and as a consensus.
Okay? Dick, do I have a question?
I'll let this very
I'm saving a lot of these for tomorrow. What do you see as the 3 biggest challenges facing our city as elected mayor? How will you address them? Pick one.
Well, pick one. Heck, first and foremost for me is making sure that we're stable in our finances, and we have a nice revenue stream. What we need to do is prioritize our reserve funds. We've gone through recessions before and didn't have to eliminate services because of that reserve funds. Housing is huge. You've already heard that today. That remains huge to get accomplished, and focus on it by accomplishing it. And then thirdly, I would put infrastructure. I'm back to sewer and water being real important, because that talks about the future and why we even exist as a community at large. And we have done work sessions on our capital improvements for sewer alone, improvements of some $20 million. So it's not like something we can just forget about. It's got to be built and accomplished.
Okay, David? With homelessness, drug abuse, and mental illness being major issues in Lincoln City. If elected mayor, how did you address these issues? How do these issues have an impact on Lincoln City?
We need to get all the stakeholders in a room. From our police, we have a new detox center in Otis. The owner of the detox center lived in Hermiston. He had so many Lincoln County people needing detox, he bought a local facility. We have a tremendous issue in our city. Many people very delicate. And our current system of dealing with someone in a crisis situation needs to be improved. I know the hospital is forming a mental health board, but we need to get all the stakeholders in the room and apply what other communities are doing to be successful. And this is so serious. We had the Coastal Caucus here. All of our state leaders were here at Chinook Winds as a host. And for the first time, of all the things we're dealing with at state, mental health. Funds are coming, and it's going to be addressed from the state level. But like always, and you're going to see a lot of solutions to Lincoln City, unless we have a plan here on the local level and they bring statewide relationships and funding, we need to be ahead of the game. We need to be ready and have the stakeholders in the room.
Okay, Susan? And what do you think your first 90 days in office will look like?
Probably stormy. January, February, March on the coast. I would like to see the council and city manager and possibly department heads to have to get to know each other session, a retreat type meeting, maybe a series of meetings, and get our goals together and decide which direction we want to go.
All right, we're going to go to summations, final summations. I have all of these questions still remaining. And I'm going to take them to the radio station tomorrow morning. You have no idea, I have no idea what is on the cards, and that's what's going to come out, and you'll respond to tomorrow as well. Final summation, Susan, you went last at the opening, you get to go first at the close.
Okay. I've enjoyed my 4 years representing Ward 1. Now I'm running for mayor and would be honored to represent all of Lincoln City. As mayor, I will reach out to neighborhood groups and keep office hours. We need to work with developers to provide more housing for our residents. We need to expand our economy beyond tourism, attract new businesses, and help current businesses to grow. We need to continue to maintain and strengthen our infrastructure and budget for our long-range needs. As mayor, I will listen. In a leadership role, often listening is more important than talking. I have the skills and experience necessary to be Lincoln City's next mayor, and I will appreciate your vote on or before November 6th.
David in the middle, your final summation, please.
I would make a call to the young people of this community. Find a place where you can volunteer. Find a board commission. We have people retiring here who have amazing resources. Get involved. I know this is a short window, but I really can tell you right here, this man to my left and this woman to my right are going to pick up serving this community on November 7th. And we're going to continue to work to make this community better. And it's exciting of a community that has so many people that love this community so much. And I would recommend that you all get involved. Come to the city council meetings. In fact, go and look at the last 2 years of the council meetings, and at the end of every city council meeting, every councilor has 5 minutes to talk about a topic. And I want you to look how much homelessness has been talked about, how much has housing been talked about, and how much has jobs been talked about. And I want to make a charge to the council going forward. Do not leave a meeting in 2019 where you were addressing, thinking, sleeping on solving those issues in your 5 minutes of every council meeting. Thank you.
Greg Anderson, final summation, please.
Lincoln City is a great place to live, work, and play. And we all have a vision of its future and how it might be improved for all of our citizens. I'm not interested in a stagnant community. I want to see Lincoln City grow and provide for the future of all our citizens. And for me, that means a diverse economy, living wage jobs, better schools, and upward mobility for career growth. To accomplish this, we need to establish cornerstones of a healthy community: housing, schools, medical facilities, and transportation. Let me lead the City Council as your mayor to lay these cornerstones and advance the building of the structure. I'd ask for your vote, Dick Anderson for mayor.
Thank you. This is probably been one of the better candidates fairs this community's ever had the good fortune to host. Special thanks goes to Lori from the Chamber, Heather from Chinook Winds, Dee, thank you, Eric. You know, I heard that in Idaho there's a Native American running for governor, would soon be elected. I think you'd make a heck of a candidate for governor of Thank you for what the casino does to this community. The News Guard, Lincoln City Chamber, Chinook Winds, remember to vote. Thank you.